Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on any purchase over $10. See the description below for details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends coming at you with a big news update today. Wizards of the Coast announced a new set coming out in June for Magic the Gathering called Modern Horizons. This set is doing something no Magic set has done before, so we're going to unpack all the details in this video, as well as take a look at 2 cards from the set that they already previewed. Quickly before we get into it though, just a fast reminder, if you want to help out the channel, check out the description below. There's a few ways there, including our Patreon page, product links on Amazon. If you buy anything on Amazon, once you go through one of those links, we'll get a small percentage no matter what it is. And you saw at the top of the show the promo code for Flipside Gaming. When you use that, that helps us out as well. As always, though, thank you not only to the folks that look at those links, but to all of you. Y'all make the channel what it is. So thank you. But let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, so the set is called Modern Horizons, like I mentioned. And you see the key art. And of course, just a moment ago, we were looking at the card where this art came from. And we'll take a closer look at it again in a moment. But what else do we need to know about this set? Well, here's the highlights. Right off the bat, notice it is Modern Legal skipping Standard. So the cards in the set will not be Standard Legal, but they will be Modern Legal. That's the first time Wizards has ever done this. They're bypassing Standard to get these cards directly into Modern. Now, much like other supplemental sets, you can play these cards in other formats, and those could include anything from Vintage, Legacy, Commander. Commons can be played in Pauper, and I'm sure we might get some reprints at Common for the first time. Typically, we do in these type of sets. This feels like a cross between a Masters set and a Conspiracy Battle Bond type experience. All right, there's a lot more to talk about, though. Look at that second bullet point. There's going to be new cards, so we are going to get some brand new cards entering the Modern format, which we've never seen before. Plus, there's going to be reprints of cards not in Modern, with the exception of the basic lands. Okay, what does that mean? That means if you were hoping to get Mox Opal, or maybe Karn Liberated, for example, that's not going to happen here. You're going to get reprints, but they're going to be reprints of cards that are not currently available in Modern, so maybe you might get some Legacy staples or something like that. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video when I give you my thoughts. This will release on June 14th. There is a pre-release, though, June 8th and 9th, that weekend, but it's going to be a draft pre-release, not a sealed. 254 cards in the set, and there is a buy a box promo. They did say the buy a box promo is going to be one of these reprinted cards, though. So it's not going to be something you can only get when you buy a box. It is something that will already exist. And then beyond that, you can pick these up in stores and Magic Online. It will not be released on Magic Arena at launch, is what they said. I assume it probably will never be released on Magic Arena. And Magic Online price will be $6.99 for a pack. Now remember, we don't have MSRP anymore. Wizards is no longer using that metric. So my assumption is minimally you'll be paying $10 a pack basically for these booster packs in paper. Maybe more than that. Maybe if you're lucky and you have a good game store, a little bit less. But that's my assumption anyway. We'll have to see how that unfolds and find out later on down the road what they're actually charging distributors and the game stores for this product. Then we'll have a better idea of the exact price point. But for now, it looks like it's priced kind of like a Masters set. Hopefully it'll be more like a Masters 25 as opposed to an Ultimate Masters price point. They also said there would be some limited competitive play with this product at upcoming Magic Fest GPs. They did mention Seattle, DC, and Copenhagen, but they said to check the Channel Fireball website for more information on that. Also, they plan on doing a lot of Modern GPs at Magic Fest going forward after that time frame, so everybody gets a feel for this new Modern format. Alright, without any further ado, let's take a look at the preview cards. The first one is Serra the Benevolent. 2 white and 2, of course, a mythic rare for loyalty, legendary, planeswalker, Serra, +2. Creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. -3, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. -6, you get an emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead, kind of like Worship. Okay, so generally, I love the idea of this card. I think there's tons of flavor here. This is Serra as a planeswalker. I mean, that's awesome. She can even create Serra Angels for the -3. I think that's amazing. Is this good enough for Modern, though? Well, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of any decks that want this immediately. However, like I said earlier, we're getting a big chunk of new cards thrust into the format. There could be a new deck that emerges out of this set, perhaps. I mean, that ultimate is not difficult to pull off. Or a really lower tier deck all of a sudden might get better with some of the cards in this set, and maybe one of those cards is this one, who knows? So I could imagine playing this with maybe a lot of flyers, lingering souls, something like that, but it's a little early to make that call yet. Aside from that though, I would love to play this in Commander. I think it could be a lot of fun there. It's definitely a flavor home run, I'll give it that. Cabal Therapist is our next one. It's a rare, it costs 1 black, it's a creature, horror, 1/1 menace. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, choose a non-land card name, then target player reveals their hand and discards all cards with that name. Notice the timing on this though, you can't use this ability the turn that you play it, you're going to have to wait till it comes back to your pre-combat main phase again, and then you can sacrifice this if you want to, or another creature, either or. So it does give you some flexibility at that point, but it does have to hang in there. Okay, this is actually pretty solid. Now, everybody knows how good Cabal Therapy is. This only costs 1, it's very fragile as a 1/1 of course, it has menace if you want to get sort of aggro early on I suppose, but really we're here for the ability. This could be interesting again, maybe with some tokens like Lingering Souls I mentioned before. Maybe you can sack one of those tokens to be able to see your opponent's hand. Even if you miss that first time, then you can sack another token and be able to hit something. Or remember, much like Cabal Therapy, this is target player, so if you need to get something out of your hand into the graveyard, this will do it for you, maybe for reanimation or something like that. All of a sudden, it makes those type of strategies already feel better in Modern. Not that they were all that bad to begin with, but maybe they could get even better. So that's kind of interesting, right? There's actually a number of different decks that I think might be interested in testing this out currently in Modern. But again, who knows? We might be even getting more decks that might want something like this once we see the rest of the cards in the set. Again, I really love the flavor here. The art is pretty spectacular too on this one. Alright, so let me give you my final thoughts about the set from what I know so far. Granted, I'm sure a lot more information is going to come out. First off, I love the conspiracy battlebound style sets. I like master sets. I don't like the price points, but I like the idea of them. Rolling the two into one concept is interesting. Here's the positives for me. From what I've seen so far, the art looks amazing. The flavor is spot on. I like when they have these opportunities where they're not tied into a certain storyline or tied to a certain plane and they can just do stuff from wherever and whenever. And I think that's pretty cool. It leads to a lot of creative stuff coming out of the set usually. Now let's talk about the Modern logistics though. I do think Modern players are going to be really nervous about this set for a couple of reasons. First off, it's going to be disappointing if you were hoping to get some Modern reprints here. You're not getting them, and if you hoped that some of those decks that you wanted to play or buy into were going to get cheaper, well, this set isn't going to help you there. As a matter of fact, now that we know that there's no Modern reprints in this set, some of those staples will most likely go up in value over the next week or two. Now, aside from that, which can be inconvenient for people, you also have the concept of all these new cards coming into the format. They could definitely change the scape of the format. So if you bought into an expensive Modern deck, well, who knows? Maybe when this set comes out, that deck might not be all that viable anymore, and you might be starting over in a way. And that could be bad for the number of players that engage in the format going forward. So that does worry me a little bit. Now, part of me is very excited to see what they actually put in here, but realistically, also considering the fact that this appears to be set at a Modern Masters type price point or something along those lines, they're not going to be cheap cards either to pick up, and they're not going to be produced in the same quantities as standard set would be produced in, for example. So some of these new cards also could get pretty expensive pretty quickly, potentially. And that, again, could make it a little bit harder to buy into the format. That worries me a bit, actually, and you couple that, of course, with the fact that the Modern reprints aren't coming here. I do think there's a lot of people that aren't going to be happy with this concept. Now, if I'm a Commander player, I'm pretty excited, because there's going to be some really amazing things here. If I'm a Pauper player, I'm pretty excited as well, because I'm going to hopefully get some new commons to play around with. And even if I'm like a Legacy or Vintage player, my hope is maybe I'll get some reprints that I need for the format and the decks I play. So I do think there are positives to this product, but there's definitely some things that have me worried, and I know a lot of people are already concerned about some of the things we learned today. So that's where we stand. I mean, there's definitely some good here, definitely some concerns, no doubt. And I totally understand both sides of the coin on this one. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the product. And hey, remember, keep it clean for the kids out there, because I know there's going to be some strong feelings about this. All right, with that being said, Hey, as always, thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.